Hello everyone, welcome to Easy English for Everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share to receive the latest videos. Now let's study together.
Hi everyone. Today, we will practice listening and speaking skills with the new neighbors topic. This story will take you on a fun journey as a family meets their new neighbors for the first time. Along the way, we will learn about kindness, friendship, and the importance of welcoming others into our community. Chapter 1. Tom and his family meeting. In a small, peaceful neighborhood, there lived a boy named Tom. Tom was a curious and adventurous 12-year-old who loved exploring and making new friends. He lived with his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, in a cozy two-story house with a big, green backyard. His dad, Mr. Johnson, was a teacher at the local elementary school, and his mom, Mrs. Johnson, worked as a nurse at the nearby hospital. Tom had a younger sister named Sarah, who was 8 years old and adored her big brother. Together, they made a happy, close-knit family. Tom's neighborhood was a quiet, friendly place where everyone knew each other. The houses were lined up neatly along the tree-lined streets, and the community had a small park where children played and families gathered on weekends. The local grocery store, run by Mr. and Mrs. Lee, was a popular spot where neighbors would stop to chat and catch up on the latest news. The neighborhood was known for its annual block party, where everyone would come together to share food, games, and laughter. One sunny morning, a moving van pulled up to the empty house next door to the Johnsons. Tom and Sarah were playing in their backyard when they noticed the activity. They ran to the front yard to get a better look. A family of 4 was unloading boxes and furniture from the van. The family consisted of Mr. and Mrs. Smith and their 2 children, Lily and Max. Mr. Smith was a tall man with a friendly smile, and Mrs. Smith was a warm, kind woman who seemed to have a knack for making everyone feel at ease. Lily, who was about Tom's age, had curly brown hair and bright blue eyes, while Max, who was around Sarah's age, had short, messy black hair and a mischievous grin. Tom and Sarah watched as the Smiths settled into their new home. They waved and smiled at the Johnsons, who waved back. Tom felt a mix of excitement and curiosity about the new family. He wondered what kind of adventures they might bring to the neighborhood. Chapter 2. First Impressions. Tom couldn't help but feel curious about the Smiths. He had never seen a family move in with so many unusual gadgets and strange-looking devices. As the days passed, Tom noticed that the Smiths seemed to keep to themselves, but there was something about them that piqued his interest. He wondered what they did for a living and what kind of hobbies they might have. Tom decided that he would find a way to introduce himself and get to know them better. The Smiths' appearance was both intriguing and a bit mysterious. They often wore casual, comfortable clothes, but Tom noticed that Mr. Smith sometimes wore a lab coat, and Mrs. Smith often carried a large, black notebook with her wherever she went. Lily and Max seemed just as curious about the neighborhood as Tom and Sarah were about them. They would often peek out of their windows or stand on their front porch, watching the other children play. One evening, Tom and Sarah were playing catch in their backyard when they saw Mr. and Mrs. Smith carrying large, metal boxes into their garage. The boxes were marked with strange symbols and numbers, and Tom couldn't help but wonder what was inside. He decided that he would ask his parents if they knew anything about the Smiths, but they just smiled and said that the new neighbors seemed friendly and that it would be nice to get to know them better. A few days after the Smiths moved in, Tom and his mom went to the local grocery store to buy some supplies. As they were browsing the aisles, Tom suddenly heard a familiar voice. He turned around and saw Mrs. Smith and Lily standing a few feet away, looking at the produce section. Tom's mom noticed them too and greeted Mrs. Smith with a warm smile. "Hello, Mrs. Smith. It's nice to see you. How are you settling in?" Mrs. Johnson asked. Mrs. Smith smiled and replied, "Thank you. We're doing well. The house is lovely, and we're getting used to the neighborhood. This is my daughter, Lily. Lily, this is Tom and his mom." Lily smiled shyly at Tom and said, "Hi, Tom. I like your neighborhood. It's very nice." Tom felt a bit nervous, but managed to say, "Hi, Lily. Welcome to the neighborhood. I hope you like it here." Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Johnson chatted for a few more minutes about the local schools and the community events. Tom and Lily stood a bit awkwardly, but Tom could see that Mrs. Smith was friendly and genuine. As they left the store, Tom's mom whispered to him, "Why don't you invite Lily to play sometime? I'm sure she'd like that." Tom nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. He decided that he would ask Lily to play the next time he saw her. Chapter 3. The Mystery Unfolds. One night, Tom was lying in bed, trying to fall asleep, when he heard a strange noise coming from next door. It sounded like a series of clicks and whirs, followed by a faint humming. Curious, Tom got out of bed and tiptoed to his window. He peeked outside and saw that the Smith's garage was lit up, and the light was flickering in a peculiar pattern. Tom wondered what could be causing the strange sounds and lights. The next night, the same thing happened. Tom decided to investigate. He put on his slippers and a jacket and quietly slipped out of his house. He crept along the side of his house and peeked around the corner to see the Smith's garage. The lights were still on, and the strange sounds were even louder this time. Tom could see shadows moving inside, but he couldn't make out what was happening. Tom was about to go back inside when he heard a soft voice behind him. "Hi, Tom. What are you doing?" Tom turned around and saw Lily standing there, wrapped in a blanket. She looked just as curious as he felt. "I was just checking out the lights and sounds from your garage," Tom whispered. "Do you know what's going on?" Lily hesitated for a moment and then said, "My parents are working on something, but they don't want anyone to know about it yet. They say it's a big surprise." Tom's curiosity was piqued even more. A big surprise? What kind of surprise? Lily smiled mischievously. "I can't tell you, but I think it's going to be amazing. Maybe you'll find out soon." Tom nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and intrigue. "Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe we can explore together sometime." Lily's eyes lit up. "That sounds fun. I'd like that." The next day, Tom couldn't stop thinking about the strange noises and lights from the Smith's garage. He decided to share his discovery with his best friends, Jake and Emma. Jake was a tech-savvy 12-year-old who loved building and tinkering with gadgets, and Emma was a creative 11-year-old who enjoyed solving puzzles and mysteries. Tom met Jake and Emma at the park after school. "Guys, you won't believe what's been happening next door," Tom said, his eyes wide with excitement. Jake and Emma leaned in, eager to hear the story. Tom told them about the strange sounds and lights he had seen and about his encounter with Lily. "That's so weird," Jake said, his curiosity piqued. "I bet it's something really cool. Maybe they're building a secret lab or something." Emma's eyes sparkled. "A secret lab? That sounds like a mystery we need to solve. Let's investigate." Tom nodded. "I was thinking the same thing. We can start by checking out the area around their house and see if we can find any clues." The three friends agreed to meet the following day after school to begin their investigation. They were determined to uncover the mystery of the Smith's secret project. The next day, Tom, Jake, and Emma met at the park and walked over to the Smith's house. They decided to start by exploring the area around the house, looking for any signs of the strange noises and lights. As they walked around the side of the house, they noticed a small, hidden gate in the fence. The gate was covered with vines and looked like it hadn't been used in a long time. Tom pushed the gate open, and they stepped into a secret garden. The garden was filled with colorful flowers, lush greenery, and a small pond. In the center of the garden, there was a large, old tree with a hollow trunk. "Wow, this is amazing," Emma said, her eyes wide with wonder. "I didn't even know this place existed." Jake walked over to the tree and examined the hollow trunk. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a small, hidden door inside the tree. "I bet this leads to something interesting." Tom and Emma joined Jake, and they all peered inside the tree. The door was made of old, weathered wood and had a small, rusty keyhole. Tom tried to open the door, but it was locked. "We need to find the key," Tom said, feeling a sense of adventure. "Let's look around the garden and see if we can find it." The three friends searched the garden, looking for any clues. They checked under rocks, behind bushes, and even in the pond. After a while, Jake found a small, rusty key hidden in a flower pot. "Got it!" Jake exclaimed, holding up the key. "Let's see what's inside the tree." Tom took the key and inserted it into the keyhole. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow, dimly lit passage. The friends exchanged excited glances and decided to explore the passage together. Chapter 4. The adventure begins. Tom, Jake, and Emma stepped into the narrow passage, their hearts racing with excitement. The passage was dark, but they could see a faint light at the end. They walked carefully, following the light, and soon found themselves in a small, hidden room. The room was filled with strange gadgets, tools, and diagrams. In the center of the room, there was a large, circular table covered with papers and sketches. "Wow, this is incredible," Emma said, her eyes wide with amazement. "What do you think they're building?" Jake picked up one of the sketches and examined it. "This looks like a blueprint for some kind of vehicle. Maybe it's a car or something." Tom nodded. "But it's not just any car. Look at these symbols and numbers. They're using some advanced technology." The friends continued to explore the room, marveling at the strange and fascinating inventions. They found a small, handwritten note on the table that read, "Project X, top secret. Do not show to anyone." Tom's curiosity was piqued even more. As they were exploring, they heard a soft voice behind them. "What are you guys doing here?" Tom, Jake, and Emma turned around and saw Lily and Max standing in the doorway, looking surprised and a bit nervous. "Hi, Lily, Max," Tom said, trying to sound casual. "We were just exploring the garden and found this hidden room. We didn't mean to intrude." Lily and Max exchanged glances and then smiled. "It's okay," Lily said. "We were just curious about what you were doing. Do you want to see more?" Tom and his friends nodded eagerly. Lily and Max led them deeper into the hidden room, showing them more of the gadgets and inventions. They explained that their parents were inventors and that they were working on a top secret project. "Wow, your parents are inventors?" Emma asked, her eyes wide with admiration. "That's so cool." Max nodded. "Yeah, they've been working on this project for a while. We help them sometimes, but we can't tell anyone about it yet." Tom felt a sense of excitement and wonder. "Can we help you with the project? We're really good at solving puzzles and building things." Lily and Max looked at each other and then at their new friends. "Sure," Lily said, smiling. "We could use some extra help, but you have to promise to keep it a secret." Tom, Jake, and Emma crossed their hearts. "We promise." As they explored the hidden room, Tom and his friends learned more about the Smith secret project. Mr. and Mrs. Smith were inventors who had been working on a revolutionary new technology. They were building a flying car, which they hoped would change the way people traveled. The project was top secret, and they had been working on it in their hidden lab for months. Tom was amazed. A flying car? That's incredible. How does it work? Lily and Max explained that the car was powered by a special engine that used a combination of solar energy and a new type of fuel. The car had wings that could fold and unfold, and it could take off and land vertically. The Smiths had been testing the car in their hidden lab, but they were still working on some of the final details. Jake, who was tech-savvy, was particularly interested in the technology. This is so advanced. I've never seen anything like it. How do you control the flight? Max explained that the car had an advanced computer system that could be controlled by a simple interface. It's like a video game, but for real life, he said, grinning. Tom and his friends were fascinated. They felt honored to be part of such an exciting project. They decided to help the Smiths with their work, and the five of them spent the next few weeks collaborating and experimenting in the hidden lab. Chapter 5: The Big Project. After a few weeks of working together, the Smiths finally revealed their latest invention to Tom, Jake, and Emma. They gathered in the hidden lab, and Mr. Smith unveiled a sleek, futuristic car with wings that could fold and unfold. The car was painted a shiny silver and had a sleek, aerodynamic design. Introducing Project X, the flying car, Mr. Smith said, beaming with pride. We've been working on this for a long time, and we're finally ready to test it. Tom, Jake, and Emma were speechless. They had seen the sketches and blueprints, but seeing the actual car was even more impressive. This is amazing, Tom said, his eyes wide with wonder. How does it work? Mrs. Smith explained that the car was powered by a combination of solar energy and a new, eco-friendly fuel. It had a special engine that allowed it to take off and land vertically, and it could reach high speeds in the air. The car was also equipped with an advanced navigation system and a simple interface that made it easy to control. Jake, who was particularly interested in the technology, asked, "Can we help with the final touches? We have some ideas that might improve the design." Mr. and Mrs. Smith smiled and nodded. "Of course. We'd love your help. Every idea counts." Over the next few weeks, Tom, Jake, and Emma worked closely with the Smiths to finalize the flying car. They helped with various tasks, from testing the car's systems to suggesting design improvements. Jake, with his tech skills, helped optimize the car's computer system, while Emma, with her creative mind, suggested ways to make the car more user-friendly. Tom, who was good at problem-solving, helped with the mechanical aspects of the project. One day, while they were working on the car, Tom noticed that one of the wings was not folding properly. He and Jake worked together to diagnose the problem and found a small issue with the hydraulic system. They fixed the problem, and the wing worked perfectly. Mrs. Smith was impressed by their teamwork. "You three are amazing. You've really helped us with this project." Tom, Jake, and Emma felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. They were excited to see their contributions come to life. Despite their progress, the project faced several challenges. One of the biggest challenges was ensuring that the car could take off and land safely. The Smiths and the children spent many hours testing the car's systems and making adjustments. They also had to ensure that the car was stable in the air and could handle different weather conditions. One particularly difficult day, the car's navigation system malfunctioned during a test flight. The car veered off course, and the team had to work quickly to bring it back to the lab. Tom, Jake, and Emma stayed up late that night, helping the Smiths troubleshoot the problem. They finally identified a software glitch and fixed it, ensuring that the car would be safe and reliable. Another challenge was keeping the project a secret. The Smiths had to be careful not to attract attention from their neighbors or the media. Tom and his friends were sworn to secrecy and helped the Smiths maintain the project's confidentiality. Despite the challenges, The team's determination and teamwork paid off. They worked together, sharing ideas and supporting each other through the ups and downs of the project. The flying car was coming together, and everyone was excited about the upcoming test flight. Chapter 6: The Test Flight. The day of the test flight finally arrived. The Smiths and the children were both nervous and excited. They spent the morning making final preparations, ensuring that every system was working perfectly. Mr. Smith and Tom checked the car's fuel levels, while Mrs. Smith and Emma ran through the pre-flight checklist. Jake and Max made sure the computer systems were functioning correctly. The Smiths had decided to conduct the test flight in a large, open field on the outskirts of the neighborhood. They wanted to ensure that the car had enough space to take off and land safely. They also invited a few trusted friends and neighbors to watch the test flight, but they kept the details of the project a secret. As they drove to the field, Tom, Jake, and Emma felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness. They had put so much effort into the project, and they were eager to see it succeed.